Welcome to Shine the Light. We got Jimmy Liang of the Fuji Group and big things. He's a Quincy native and he's got a great story. And I have like a personal experience with him that he probably doesn't really know about. That's it's not crazy, but it was a life shaping way experience in a way. But you were just talking to me earlier before we started getting this going about your roots and how you came to be so embedded in the Quincy world.
Well, I grew up in Quincy, so elementary school, middle school, high school. I was even a newspaper boy for the Patriot Ledger, so I'm very, very local. My heart and my home is Quincy, Mass, and I've even got my North Quincy Red Raider T-shirt on. That's
I, lo-
class of '96.
I
So
love that representing.
yeah, oh yeah, trying to.
So at 19, I hear that that's when you kind of made your way or started your efforts in the whole restaurant world. How did that come about?
So when I was a kid, I was 18 years old. I was looking for a job. I was already a sushi chef in Cambridge. But the job wasn't paying enough, so I had to find another one. And one of my friends was working at the Apollo in Chinatown, and she says, "Why don't you come by for an interview? I heard we're hiring, and I can talk to the manager for you." So I showed up the next day or whatnot, and I interviewed with them. And the chef says, "Show me what you can do." Gave me some fish to cut, told me to make some stuff for him, and I did. And he says, "You're hired. When are you coming for work tomorrow?" And I said, "Sure." And I show up for work the next day. Unbeknownst to me, the head chef sat me down and said, "I'm leaving for Japan. You're going to be the new head chef here." And I said, "Well, there are other chefs that are here already, and they're much older than me, a lot more experienced." I was only 18 at the time. And he
Wow.
says, "No," and he says, "No, no, no. I saw what you can do yesterday. I've actually heard of you and what you've been doing in terms of being a sushi chef. So you're the most capable one here. You're going to be the head chef." And I was like, "All right." And I just kind of got thrown into the fire.
Wow.
And I still remember even from helping my owners order food to come in. The owners had to train me a little bit on how to get that stuff done. So I really learned a lot from being in that job, and that was that was one of the things that was very helpful in terms of me getting to the next stage of my career. And so once I got all that stuff done, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I'm doing this for somebody else in Boston, I think I can do this for myself. And I just kind of started thinking about it. Got my best friend together and another coworker, and we just basically started looking for locations. And so in 1998, the first Fuji was opened in Quincy, Mass, and it was a small little 19-seater restaurant. Um, I opened without any booze licenses because I wasn't even of age yet. And so I waited a couple of years until I turned 21, and then I got my first beer and wine license in Quincy.
What an animal. That's pretty crazy. Do you know? So my story with you is
Uh-huh.
that so I'm from New Hampshire, and
Yeah.
I moved down here probably, geez, when was it? Around 2000 or something, maybe a little
Uh-huh.
earlier. And
Okay.
that store, I met you with my now ex-father-in-law, but he used to go
Uh-huh.
in there all the time, and he's like, "Oh,
Okay.
you gotta try this." And I used to eat sushi a little bit, but I went into your restaurant. I met you because you were I kind of was in there a little bit, but that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we met at that point. I think you had a shaved head.
Yeah.
Right?
Now it's
Now look at
COVID-19 here.
yeah, yeah. But I had met you then, and to be honest, like the quality of the food that you put out back then kind of got my taste buds to what I feel like. I've had a ton of sushi, but it kind of it trained me to understand what I expect out of sushi. So
Good. Thank
I
you.
mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, your spot, you said is what would you say, 19 seater?
Well, the very first spot was it was a little 19-seater restaurant, and then
Yeah,
later on I moved into Quincy Center. That one had the long bar. I was 25 at the time, I think. It
yeah.
was a big long bar, and by then we were able to seat about 110 or so. Yeah. So
Well,
I went from 19 seats to like 100 something. Yeah.
but one thing that's what interesting about you is not only have you done all these restaurants, all of a sudden you have, a construction company, design and
Yeah.
build.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So who runs that and how did that come about?
So one of my so my oldest brother, he's I'm so it's a family of three. My there's I have two older brothers and then myself. So three boys. And my oldest brother, he was in the restaurant business and he got out of it, and then he wanted to get into construction. And so he went to school, he did his apprenticeship, he put in his time, and then he left. And by then I had already started Fuji, and I said to him, I go, well, the next step is, you either go and get a job and work for somebody, or you and I, we can start a business together.
Mm,
And so I talked to him, and he was like, I used to own a restaurant. I was like, yeah, I know. So it's right up your alley, getting back into the entrepreneurship side of it. And he was like, okay, that sounds good. And I said, how about we'll put a construction company together. I'll help you run it. You do the day-to-day stuff, and I'll meet with clients, and I'll help you on the back end of stuff. And so that's how it's been all these years. So my brother helps me construct, design, and build all the restaurants. And but beyond doing stuff for ourselves, we actually we specialize in building restaurants, obviously, because that's what we do. And we've been very busy. We actually do a lot of residential builds, as well as small renovation jobs. I mean, we're pretty good, from doing the front porch steps for somebody to building a huge restaurant, to building a single family home, to building a small apartment building. So we do all sorts of stuff, and we have a decent range, as well. So
wow,
we're really just there to try to do something positive. So thank you,
I mean,
thank you.
that is a very, I mean, your accomplishments are huge. And right now you've boosted your restaurant presence to what? How many are there now?
I've got 9 restaurants right now. 9 restaurants. One of them is actually a high-end food kiosk, and it's funny with that one because I built it, got all the inspections done. 1 week to open, COVID-19 hit, and so that kiosk has actually never been open. So I have a new opening to look forward to once everything calms down and gets back to normal. So
Where is that? Where's that one?
that one's actually at a place called High Street Place in Boston, right on High Street. It's a
Mhm.
it's a high end food hall. I've got a lot of good neighbors there. A lot of exciting restaurants there. Tiffany Faison is actually there. She's a James Beard Award winner, among a lot of other chefs. So it's a good environment. It's right in the heart of the financial district. It's very exciting, new concepts. I even developed a more unique menu for that spot. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. It's very, very cool. Once it opens, you guys should come check it out. We're actually gonna be so the fun thing about High Street Place is that we're trying to activate and bring a lot more entertainment there, and hopefully you guys could actually come and play there. It'll be pretty
Oh,
cool. Oh
that
yeah,
that that sounds cool. Well, you
oh yeah.
know, I mean, it's funny because um, you're very open. Like you seem very kind and very nice, and like for all your
Thank you.
accomplishments, you're pretty. I'm sure you're not chill because I mean, you can be, but you have 9 restaurants and then a construction business. It's really cool, man. I mean, I really admire that, and I love to see
Thank
that
you.
stuff because it's motivating. Because you can
Thank
do
you.
what you, if you really set your mind to it, people can do a lot of great things. And um, I know I wanted to talk about because I've been to 3 of the restaurants. The other one that I've gone to is Shabu,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, I love sushi, but I love what happens in Shabu. I like how it's presented. I love
Uh-huh.
how I just there's something about the what would you call it? It's like an intimate experience with
Yep.
it's like a cool sharing food experience.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But where is Shabu located?
Shabu is in North Quincy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, right, because it's such a experience driven restaurant. Right now we're without having the ability to be open 100%, and
Yeah.
during COVID-19 right now it's so we're actually only providing takeout and delivery over there, but business hasn't been too great
Yeah.
against COVID-19, because Shabu, in order for you to have the full experience, you really got to sit down at the restaurant, interacting with us, and then you interacting with your guests. So it's very much an experience driven type of food. Um, so, but yeah, that's in North Quincy, and then I have another Shabu in Maine. That's in Kendall Square. There, we also do ramen noodles, and the
Oh,
ramen
cool.
noodles, yeah. And so right now over there, we're just doing ramen noodles for takeout and delivery. But the ramen noodle soup base itself, it takes about 30 hours to make, 36 hours to make.
Mm.
And that's so. I mean, when I develop my recipes, when I develop food, my chefs don't really like me that much because I don't like to take shortcuts. I like to take my time. Everything that needs, for example, the soup. I mean, I could have stopped at 12 hours or 24 hours, but I wanted to get the consistency of the soup to be where I want it to be. And I think it takes 36 hours versus 24 or even 12. And my guys don't like me very much sometimes when I'm developing food recipes for them to work on. So,
Well,
but it's
they'll like you when you're you know, putting out a product that keeps them employed.
oh well, yeah. I mean, so a lot of my guys, they've been with me for a very very long time.
Mm.
My workforce, they're very loyal to me. I'm very loyal to them. I understand it's a team effort. In order for me to be able to do what I do, I got to have the right team members behind me to help me so that I can do what I do. But
Mm.
really, whatever I do out there, it's really all credit due to my staff and back of me, supporting me, doing the day-to-day grunt work that I need them to do. I mean, we all know the restaurant business is not an easy one, especially being a chef or server. I mean, you're on your feet all day long and you're working while everybody else is playing. Um, it's not an easy gig, but at the same time, we're not saving lives like nurses and doctors are doing. We're not sending people to the moon like scientists over at NASA are doing. Um, so it's a lot of grunt work, but at the same time, it's a pretty simple and gratifying job. We're there to take care of somebody. I'm there to feed people some good food, and hopefully it'll make a small difference in their day, in their life. So
Well, I think you put out an amazing product. And as far as your design evolution, so
thank you.
from the small place that you started out to then the
Uh-huh.
next your next one on Hancock, that second one design wise, it kind of always reminded me. I don't know if you've seen it, but gave me this weird feel of like it was very it's urban, but um it was just funky. So it reminded me of
Uh-huh.
like interest. It was like Clockwork Orange or something. It was like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
so cool. And then now, your newest restaurant in Quincy, at West Chestnut,
Yep,
is
West of Chestnut.
yeah, west of Chestnut. It's really slick, and it seems like you've you know, refined your style a little bit, and I love it. I think you do an amazing job, and it seems like from what I heard, and you can tell me a little bit more about it, um, that you are super immersed in Quincy as far as like charities and helping in ways you can. And yeah, I'd like to hear a little bit more about how that goes.
Sure. So since I was a kid, and having grown up in Quincy, Quincy's been my home. again, and my grandmother had always taught me, because my grandmother raised me pretty much. Typical immigrant family. My parents worked all the time. My grandmother was there to help raise myself and my
Where
brothers.
where were your parents working? Did
My
how'd that work?
father was working at actually at a local place in Quincy, the Cathay Pacific, when I was a kid, because the head chef over there was best friends with my grandfather.
Mm,
And when we moved here to the States, my grandfather got a job there, and then subsequently my father, my uncles, my brothers, and even my cousins, they all worked there at one point in time. I've always been kind of like the one in my family to like do my own stuff.
mm.
Um,
They must
so
be they must be blown away by your success. It's pretty amazing.
um, so thank you, I appreciate that. And actually, I work with my siblings as well as my best friend and my cousins these days. Because
Awesome.
when I first started building Fuji, I mean, who better to trust than your own family? And we're
Mhm.
all kind of like in the same age range. So my cousins being younger than me, and then my siblings being older than me, like I'm kind of like smack in the middle.
Mm.
So it's a very interesting dynamic. But doing charity work in Quincy, it's very important. My grandmother had raised us to be contributing members of society. She always says, if you're not contributing, you're just taking. So what kind of guy do you want to be? What kind of man do you want to be when you grow up? And so I've always heeded her words. And so as we grew, as I started the first business, I remember the first time I did charity work was it wasn't even in Quincy. My first time doing charity work was actually in Hingham. So I was approached. So probably like a month or two after we opened in Quincy, the small little 19-seater restaurant, the Hingham Foster Elementary School called and says, "Oh, we're trying to do a cultural lunch for the kids. What do you think?" And I was like, "Tell me more." And then so they invited me to go over there and make lunch. At first, it was supposed to be for like 100, 200 kids, but to make lunch for the kids. So I was like, "Okay," and they're like, "Well, this is not paid." And I was like, "That's fine. I don't mind. We just opened, and I would love to share my food with everybody. It's totally fine." So I went there with my team. We sh-
That's a
we
big
so
that's a big ask.
Yeah, and I actually had to shut my store down too, because I mean we're small.
Yeah.
Um, we didn't have a lot of staff, so if I had to go somewhere and do something, the store's gonna have to shut down.
Mm.
So I was 19 at the time, and I didn't even give it a second thought. I was like, you know what, we're there for the kids. And because I grew up with a lot of little cousins around me, so I've always been kind of like the older brother too, even though I'm the baby in my immediate family. And so children had always had a soft spot with me, and I was like, you know what, that's fine. We'll go there and we'll get it done. So we closed down the store. Um, I brought my staff to the elementary school, and then we made lunch for. At first, it was a couple hundred kids, and then it extended to the rest of the whole lunchtime. So it was basically for everybody, for all the other kids too. And I made them California rolls, cucumber rolls, avocado rolls, and some edamame. And the kids loved it. And the kids
Mm.
loved it. And the experience that I had working with the lunch matrons and the lunch mothers over there, it was really fun. And so I traded sushi for an awesome peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a carton of milk. And it was an amazing experience. And after that, the other charity thing that I did was this little girl from North Quincy High comes in and says she's trying to fundraise some money for the volleyball booster program for the girls volleyball team. And I said, sure, why not? I used to play men's volleyball, and I used to play basketball, so I totally understand what you guys are trying to do. And I asked her, I said, but how much is this donation? Because I just opened, I really don't have any money. And she says, it's $20. And I said, okay, I can do $20. And then slowly everything just started going from there. But honestly, and very, very fortunate to be able to have grown a business that can support itself, support my family, and support the community at the same time. And that's what I'm really proud of. And I really believe in giving back. I believe in having a strong community starts with strong folks, strong families, and we just got to do what we can to help support each other. I mean, at the end of the day, it's for a very selfish reason, to have a better community and better environment, better school systems, whatever it is that I can do to help the city of Quincy. I'll reap the personal benefits from it because it's my home. So
Mm.
it works out in every way possible. It's just, you know, I believe doing the right thing. They used I think they're just saying rising tide raises all ships. And
Mm.
and I would like to be a part of that and to help Quincy grow, to help the community again. It's and it's great too because I mean it gives me a chance to do something for everyone because like the police officers, they're always doing things for us. Nurses and doctors, again, they're out there saving lives. Um, the way I look at it, the least I can do is give somebody a good meal and help them in that way because sometimes I know after a long shift, no matter what you do, even I'm sure with you after a long night of playing music with your band, being in a good environment, but afterwards I'm sure you're famished. And
Mm.
that's where I step in. That's where I step in to help
Yeah.
feed everybody, give everybody a full tummy of good food. I ran for public office 5 times in Quincy, and I never won, which actually helped me quite a bit. Because if I had won, I mean, I don't know where Fuji would be, and I don't know what kind of charitable work I could do at this point. Because after I ran 5 times and lost every single time, and then it just got to a point where I'm just like, so I started asking myself, why am I doing this? Why did I want to run to begin with? And I just thought, you know what? The reason why I wanted to do was because very simple. I just wanted to help people out. I just wanted to contribute to my community. And so I was like, okay, well, I ran 5 times, I lost 5 times. Now what can I do? And at that point, Fuji was still growing, and I was like, you know what? I think I can do a lot of good with my business and try to help people on my own terms. Because every time, so I was gonna be part of be part of this charity thing that the city was doing, but then I stopped doing it because it was during an election, and I didn't want people to think that I'm trying to do stuff because it's an election year, and I just didn't want to be that guy. While running for office actually it was preventing me from doing the work that I really want to do. So in
Mm.
hindsight, I'm glad I never won because now I can do charity work on my own terms,
Mm.
dictate what I want to do, and I'm not asking for anything back, and I'm not asking for anything from anybody. It's just myself and my business partners and my staff going out there representing ourselves, trying to make some good food and trying to feed people and try to do good work through positive impact. Whether I'm teaching a bunch of 40 little kids to learn how to do sushi, or standing at a fundraising event making sushi for people. um I guess the way I like to think about it is being able to do positive, good work through my craft, which is food. And
Mm.
I think food brings a lot of people together. It brings people together to learn about each other's cultures. Food is a universal language, and I'm extremely grateful that I can be in an industry where we can all talk without talking to each other, and still be able to share that positive vibe, that positive experience, and again, try to do something good.
What would be your favorite meal that you've ever done, if you have one? One, maybe it's not your favorite, but one you're most proud of.
Okay, you know what? I'll take this chance to talk about a Lunar New Year's Eve omakase menu that I'll be putting out. So with the Lunar New Year coming up, and honestly, even though I'm Chinese, my parents have always celebrated it. Personally, with my immediate family, I always celebrate it, but with my wife and I, and with the kids, I never really do much for the Lunar New Year. So this year, I decided to change gears, and I wanted to make Lunar New Year special. So what am I doing? I actually ordered a bunch of um, peach trees to because peach trees are big during the Lunar New Year. So instead of the Christmas tree, I'm gonna decorate a bunch of peach trees, and on top of it, so the during the Lunar New Year, you give out red envelopes that has money in it. So I'm not wealthy, so I can't be giving out a lot of money, but I will be giving out red envelopes with um, tiny bit of money in there just to give to everybody. Wish everybody good luck, good health for the new year. It's just a gesture, and so for the Lunar New Year menu, I'm actually doing a lot of traditional, but I guess it's more of a fusion type of menu to celebrate the Lunar New Year, based on the foods that are traditional within the Chinese culture.
Mm.
So for example, so for one dish, the Chinese people like abalone, which is a shellfish. Um, and it's usually done with dried mussels and black moss, and has a very unique and special taste to it. So, but I'm actually taking the abalone and I'm making an abalone with a soy and truffle flavor over risotto. So that's going to be very exciting. I'm also doing a very traditional dessert called osmanthus jelly, which osmanthus is a flower that's native to Southeast Asia, from the Himalayas to China to Japan. And you use the flowers, you use it as a tea, but I'm going to use that to put into so the jelly itself, it's actually konnyaku. Konnyaku is another plant. So it's completely 100% vegetarian, gluten free, everything. So and it's a plant, and you grind that plant up. You call it that it's either a um konnyaku potato, or it's called devil's tongue. It has a lot of different names, but the bottom line with this is that you grind it up and you use that to make a jelly with it, and I use cane sugar in it. So it's a very traditional jelly made with a flour and goji berry. So that's really tasty. I'm also doing a suckling pig with a corn puree. I'm doing a sashimi salad. So basically, overall, I'm doing about 8 courses, omakase style. I'm only gonna do pre-order and maybe 20 to 30 orders maximum. And once it's sold out, it's sold out. But I'm really excited about that menu.
And
And
you're gonna
also,
do that. You're gonna do that right out of the
the
West
Quincy
Chestnut.
store. Yep,
Yeah.
the Quincy store. I have a private kitchen over there, so and I'll be personally handling all these food orders. Um, because with my job as the CEO of the company, I actually don't get enough chances to play around with people's food anymore. So every time I get a chance to do that, I love doing it. And before we close it out, and I'll take this opportunity, if you don't mind, to talk about Valentine's Day as well, because I'm going to be running a promotion called Show Your Love. So
Cool.
usually every Valentine's Day, we usually give a rose, or give we have little giveaways for people when they come in. But again, COVID-19, not cool, nothing's happening. So what I'm actually doing is on Valentine's Day, throughout all my stores, a certain amount of proceeds that we make from Valentine's Day, I'm actually going to be donating to one. I'm going to be for Quincy, I'll be donating to QCAP. In Somerville, I'll be donating to Somerville Cares. Kendall Square, I'll be donating to East End House. Boston, I'll be donating to Pine Street Inn. So it's just my way of, again, it's just trying to help people out a little bit, and I just want to show some love to everybody, and again, so when people come in that day, you spend $10, a certain portion of that, it's gonna go to somebody that needs it, and that's why I'm calling it Show Your Love, and just trying to do something positive. So those are the two things that's coming up right now, and I'm very excited about it. Again, I just want everybody to get out of this dumpy feeling that I keep talking about because of COVID. And I know it's hard. I know a lot of people are having a hard time. I'm having a hard time.
Cool, good stuff, man.
Thank you, my man. Thank you. I'll just
How do people find you online to look at all your restaurants?
jpfugigroup.com, jpfugigroup.com, and that's it. You'll be able to find everything on it. It'll give you links to the other restaurants, to whichever restaurant, to all my properties, and then there'll be also links for Facebook, Instagram, the usual stuff. Yeah, so
Awesome.
jpfugigroup.com.
All right. Well, I've been speaking with Jimmy Liang of the Fuji Group. You're awesome. Check out the Lunar New Year menu and the Show Your Love action on Valentine's Day. And I look
Thank you, my
forward to
man.
going in and seeing you. I haven't been over in a little bit, but I'll be over. And when I do, I'll reach out.
Sounds good, my man. Thank you.
You're,
Thank you.
you're awesome.
Stay in touch.
Hope
Thank you, brother.
your family and everybody stays well. I'm happy we talked.
Thank you. Thank you so
Peace.
much.